Welcome back, everybody. Today I'm taking a look at the Ninja Foodi Neverstick Pan. I've actually spent the last 2 weeks testing this thing out. I've also compared it against 4 past pans I reviewed to see how it stacks up against the competition. So let's take a look back at the highlights of my last 2 weeks testing out the Ninja Foodi Neverstick Pan. All right, let's first take a quick overview and then get started. All right, let's take a look at the Ninja Neverstick Premium Fry Pan. I have the 12-inch fry pan. I paid 50 bucks for this. No lid came with it. They also have 10 1/4 inch model for 40 and an 8-inch for 30 as of this date. This is on the front here. This is at 30,000 degrees Fahrenheit versus 900. That's talk about the manufacturing temperature, not the temperature you can cook with. They do say it's for all types of ranges: gas, electric, glass ceramic, and induction. Let's take it out of here and get a closer look. Not much of an unboxing, is it? All right, well, it's a nice looking pan. They say it features a hard anodized surface, cast stainless handles, 4.5 millimeter aluminum base, exclusive non-stick coating, dishwasher safe, metal utensil safe. They have this Neverstick lifetime guarantee, a very large type, but a much smaller type. That says when used as directed, and the lifetime is based on 5 years of use, so it's a pretty short life. So my first actual test isn't really a dish. I just wanted to see how the Neverstick pan surface did against an egg. So I actually whisked a couple of eggs so I can coat the entire bottom, and at first it seemed like it wasn't going well, but actually it wasn't too bad. Check it out. I've always got to do my first test with an egg, right? But instead of just doing the typical crack an egg in there and see what happens, I'm gonna mix things up just a little bit. Speaking of mix things up, I mixed up 2 eggs, a dash of milk. Let's see how this goes and if it sticks to the bottom or not when I'm done. I'm just gonna let this sit for a couple minutes and we'll see how easily it pulls off of the bottom. I should point out while this is cooking here that their recipes do say no oil or butter needed in the Ninja Neverstick Pan. So I didn't put any oil or butter in there. I normally would, but I didn't. Oh wow. It's not really like gliding off like some of these non-stick commercials show. I think this might end up being scrambled eggs. Let me just scramble these real quick. This layer is coming off it with the spoon pretty easily, but as far as the demonstrations of having it just kind of come out of there on its own, not gonna happen. I'm gonna let this cool off. I'm gonna clean out the bottom and see how that goes. And don't worry, before you say user error, there's plenty of other tests I got going on here, so that's just one test. All right, so what's interesting is that this layer is coming off pretty easily, so I'm sure it'll clean nicely. Gentle sponge. Oh yeah, easily wiping out as I expected. And new pans tend to be this good. I haven't used any soap on there. I will, but I haven't yet. So yeah, very quick cleanup, no problem. That was effortless. Happy with that. Let's move on to the next thing. All right, so my next test was actually a sauce that I make for a dish that my kids like. But the test for this one was actually how it cleans up, because this particular sauce is kind of problematic when it sits for a while, so I let it sit and clean it out, and here's what happened. All right, next up I'm trying a basic sauce, 2 ingredients, cream of chicken and tuna. I'm gonna warm this up, pour it out, and then I'm gonna let it sit for a while. And then after it's cooled, we'll see how well it comes out of there in the cleaning process. All right, I've been simmering it for about 10 minutes here. It definitely isn't sticking as I'm cooking it, but what I'm gonna do now is pour this out, let the kind of residue in the bottom sit for a while, maybe an hour, see what happens then. The handle is not hot down here. Obviously, as you get closer, it starts to get warm, but up here, it's not bad. So far, so good on the handle. All right, it's been exactly 1 hour. It's a little bit caked on here. Let's see how easy this is to clean off. Just gonna use the soft side of the sponge. All right, I mean, it's coming off. I'm not sure if it's quite as impressive as some others I've done, but it's coming off. All right, it cleaned pretty easily. I'm not sure if that's the easiest pan I've ever cleaned after a similar test, but I mean, we got a long way to go, so let's just keep moving on, see how it holds up throughout the week. All right, the next test is kind of a fun one. I brought back the Hexclad and compared these two side by side for the cheese test. In this corner, we've got the lovely Hexclad pan, which the lid was actually the same price as the entire Ninja pan was. Very expensive lid. Does it fit? What do you know, it actually fits perfectly on there. Yeah, that's cool. So one test I did in the Hexclad was melted cheese. That's one they showed in their demonstrations. So let's do it for both of these and see how they stack up. It's pan versus pan, Hexclad versus the Ninja Neverstick. All right, we're getting some cheese sizzle here. Hexclad sizzling. Ninja is not sizzling. All right, this cheese is starting to burn over here, so I'm gonna do the Hexclad technique where I use tortilla shell. All right, this is from the Hexclad infomercial. They melted some cheese. They put a tortilla on top of it. Kind of rub it around a little bit. And I gotta put my camera down. Kind of pull it out like this. And I'm pretty sure that's what happened the first time too. We got some in here and some down there. Let's try the Ninja now. Oh wow, look at that, whoa! Wow, I'm actually quite shocked. I don't think the Hexclad did that well the first time. Now you can say that, you know, maybe it's burnt over here, but it wasn't over there. But they're on the same amount of time, the same temperature, and I don't think the Hexclad performed this well even the first time I did it. So for whatever reason, the Ninja just crushed it. But for the consolation prize, let's see how well the Hexclad scrapes out of here. I mean, that's still pretty good. That's better, but that's pretty good. But it was a very impressive demonstration for the Ninja. I've done this test a few times, never seen this good of results. Very happy with that. All right, yet another fun test coming up. This is the burnt marshmallow test, and I brought back the original Granitestone Pan, which was called Granite Rock when I originally reviewed it. And that's where this test originated, and the granite stone is actually kind of aged over the years, so it's not performing quite as well as it used to. Still a good pan though, but I wanted to see how the Neverstick would compare, and the results were pretty impressive. All right, this is one of my favorite tests, the marshmallow test. I originally did that with the Granitestone back when it was called Granite Rock years ago. And the Granitestone is still the reigning champion of the marshmallow test, but let's see how the Neverstick Pan can do in comparison. The way this test works is I heat them up, I get it kind of burned on the bottom, and then I dump them out, let them cool, and then scrape the bottom. That's the idea at least. Let's see what happens. Now keep in mind, this is several years old now, so I don't expect it to perform as well as it used to, but we shall see. Shouldn't take long to start getting some burnt marshmallows and see how they dump. All right, I've got some updated information here. In the Granitestone, the marshmallows are definitely almost melted. They're still kind of melting in the Ninja. I believe the Ninja instructions said it was going to take longer to heat up than other pans. In this case, the Granitestone is going to be done faster, so I'm going to pour that out first. I haven't done this test in the Granitestone in a long time. Let's see how it looks. Ooh. It's definitely sticky. All right, Granitestone Pan is done. Let's try the dump test. Oh, okay. Well, we have that layer there, so the important thing is how easy that comes off, which we'll see after it cools. All right, let's take a peek underneath here. That looks like it's getting pretty burnt. Oh yeah. All right, let me dump this out. And here we go. Okay, all right. Oh, on the side too. Ooh. This is good. This is what we want. So we got burnt marshmallow stuck in the bottom of the Ninja, burnt marshmallow stuck in the bottom of the Granitestone. There's smoke coming off of the Ninja that did not come off the Granitestone for some reason. But I'm gonna let these cool for 20 minutes and then hopefully scrape it out. All right, it's been 20 minutes. Let's take a close look. First, I'm gonna do the Granitestone. I'm going to say it's not as good as it was originally, but it is coming off. It is definitely coming off. I don't think non-stick pans are supposed to last more than about 5 years, so we're like 3 years in, so you know, not too bad really. This one is brand new. I expect more from it than I got from the Granitestone. Oh yeah, look at that. Lovely. Very lovely. As I hoped, it's a nice demonstration of the non-stick surface. Just gonna quickly put these in the sink and rinse them off and keep going. First up, Granitestone. All right, for a nearly 3-year-old pan, I still think that's pretty impressive. That cleaned up in about 1 minute or less. Very nice. Now there really isn't much to clean on the Ninja. I just got a couple spots here. Let's see. Start off with the brush because it's kind of lightest, and it's doing its job. All right, so even though it performed a little bit better than the Granitestone on the stove, I would say the cleanup was roughly the same. So I'm going to say that, you know, I'm going to give the Ninja B+. I would say the original Granitestone test was probably the A, and I'll give the Granitestone, you know, I'll give it a B-. So far, it's doing pretty good. We got plenty more tests to go, though. All right, now I make pancakes a couple times a week. Now, the few times I actually forget to put oil or butter down, it's usually a complete disaster. So I wanted to see how the Neverstick Pan would do with pancakes with no oil or butter, which is usually pretty bad. But in this case, it was actually pretty good. All right, first pancake, no butter or oil on the surface. Let's see how well it cooks. And the pan was preheated, by the way, so it's already a hot pan. It shouldn't take that long. I cook pancakes a couple times a week on my griddle. I always put oil down first, so I'm not used to not having oil. The times I forget oil, it sticks pretty badly on this griddle over here. So I would expect it to stick, but on this surface, maybe not. All right, it should be about time to flip now. Let me see how it looks. All right, well, it didn't stick on the bottom. That's good. Oh, look at that, nothing. Very impressive. Oh, not bad. Probably could have gone a little bit longer, but the fact that it came off the bottom, that's really what this test is all about. I'm very impressed with that. Just testing this out, it just slides right around. That's very impressive. Look at this, nice, very even too. I'm impressed by this. That's very impressive. No oil, pretty good. I'm gonna quickly try one more with some oil on the bottom and see how it turns out. Maybe it'll turn a little differently. All right, I've got a light layer of oil on the bottom. Let's see how a pancake does with oil real quickly, just to compare. All right, it's a bit smaller pancake than the first time, but that should be not a problem. All right, let's give this a shot. All right, I mean, it's a little bit smaller pancake, but it cooked fine. It seems like the oil maybe helped it brown a little bit better, but really the fact that it cooked pretty evenly and the fact that it released so easily from the pan, I'm still impressed. Final flip. Oh yeah, perfect. All right, let's take a look at these two. This one was done without any butter or oil, and this one was done with butter and oil. But what's most important to me is the fact that this released so easily, and that they cooked very evenly. So I'm quite happy with the pancakes with and without oil. All right, another comparison, I wanted to pull out the Granitestone Pro that I did last year. This time shrimp. This is always a good test because shrimp tends to stick and it's hard to clean up. So here's how the Granitestone and the Neverstick fared head to head. All right, in this corner I have the Granitestone Pro Series pan. In this corner, the Ninja Neverstick. I just weighed these pans actually because I noticed a slight difference in weight. The Ninja is 3 pounds, the Granitestone is 2 pounds, so it is a heavier pan. The Hexclad is also 3 pounds, so the Ninja and Hexclad weigh the same. These pans have been warming up for about 2 minutes, so let's toss them in there, no oil or butter, and see how they do. Now normally you would put oil or butter in there, but this is a test of the Neverstick pan and the non-stick surface, so that's why I'm doing it that way. We're about 1 minute in. Let me see how sticky these are. Well, that one just came right off. Let me see this one. Came right off. What I'm going to try now is the shake test. I'm going to grab it by the handle, which is not warm by the way. Try shaking the Granitestone. Oh, they kind of shook loose. Some of them did. Let's try the shake test on the Ninja. None shook loose. Interesting, okay. Let me try flipping one of these. Okay, well, released quite nicely. Oh, it's ready to flip anyways. It released very nicely. Look at this, very easy. Very quick release, no problem whatsoever. Even though it didn't swirl around like the Granitestone, that's certainly an acceptable surface, and that was very easy. The Granitestone already released on its own, which is probably even more impressive. Let me try the swirl test one more time. Granitestone. Granitestone's doing it. For the most part. They released pretty much on their own. Ninja Neverstick, let's try it. And once again, it's not, well, maybe it is. I can use those to kind of dislodge some of the others. I want to say it's not as impressive on the swirl test. It's not releasing quite as easily. It's releasing, I mean, you can just do that. Is that a significant difference? I'm not sure it is, even though it didn't swirl. Look how easy it came off. I'm gonna call it pretty close to a tie. So next up, I'm gonna let these cool off and clean them off, which should hopefully be no problem. All right, these are completely cooled, as you can see. So let's try out the Granitestone Pro first. All right, it's coming off pretty quickly, pretty easily. No hard scrubbing. I'm going very gently, and this is looking pretty good. What is it, 30 seconds? Not even 30 seconds? Pretty quick. Keep in mind, this is a year-old pan, so it's still holding up quite nicely. Not only is it a year old, but I use it multiple times a week, and looking pretty good. But the star of the show is the Ninja Neverstick. Let's see how that compares. All right, it feels almost identical. I mean, as far as the cleaning goes, it's not much difference. The shrimp residue is coming off quite nicely. About the same as far as I can tell. All right, so as far as the cleaning went, they felt absolutely identical. I would say almost exact same amount of time, about the same amount of pressure and scrubbing, so pretty close. I think the Granitestone and the Ninja Neverstick were pretty on par as far as the shrimp went. If you don't count my swirl test where the Granitestone did a little better, I think they did about the same. So for my final test, let's check out a couple of steaks with the Neverstick pan versus the Always pan and see how that went. All right, how about a couple of filet mignons? They're room temperature, a little bit of salt and pepper. I've got the Ninja pan plus the Always pan, which I did a steak in as well. This one, people said they didn't have a good luck searing, but I actually found that was to be the case. But you're not supposed to use very high heat for much of the Always pan. And it can't go in the oven, so that's an issue with that. But let's compare the two of these and see how they do with these two steaks. First up, Ninja. Very nice. Next up, Always pan. All right, we have a lovely sizzle, so far so good. Lovely sizzle, so far so good. So it's gonna take a few minutes to sear this side and then flip it. All right, here we go, time for the flip. Oh, very nice. Time for the flip. Very nice. So far I have a nice sear on both of them. I still don't think the Always pan does as bad as some people said it did. And the Ninja is no problem either. The sticking is not an issue at all. No sticking, no sticking. So the surface is doing quite well. I just checked the internal temperature of these with my trusty thermometer, and the Ninja is considerably warmer than the Always pan. The Always pan is gonna take a little bit longer. So the Ninja seemed to get it hotter faster than the Always pan did. That's one difference I did spot. All right, the Ninja is done. I gotta let this rest for a few minutes and see what happens. All right, Always pan is done. All right, so here's the final result, the Ninja and the Always pan. I'm gonna rest these up and then give it a taste test. All right, it's rested for 7 minutes now. Let's check them out. All right, here's the Always pan. Let's cut into that one first. I'm just gonna cut right through the meatiest part of the steak here. Let's see what we got. That looks pretty good. That's pretty good, I think. Let me do a little taste test here. Always pan. Oh good. All right, the Always pan did a respectable job. Let's try the Ninja and see how that goes. Again, right down the center of the meatiest part, just to take a look inside. Really similar results. I mean, that's pretty much the same results as the Always pan. There we go. I think that came out nice. What do you guys think? I think it looks good. Here we go, Ninja Neverstick. All right, good show. All right, just a quick side-by-side. On the top is the Ninja, on the bottom is the Always pan. Very close. It's almost hard to distinguish which is which, but that's the final product, and I think they both did a good job. Well, I don't think there was a significant difference in the taste of these. They both cooked around the same amount of time. The one thing I will say is different, though, is that if I wanted to finish off the steak in the oven, I couldn't do it with the Always pan. I'd have to do it with the Ninja. So the Always pan did a good job on the pan frying, but if you want to finish in the oven, you can't do that. So that's one area where the Ninja does shine. I should point out, I've also been using this pan every day off camera as well. I've made a bunch of dishes. I've made bacon, I've made chicken, I've made sauces, quite a few things. So it hasn't been just these tests that I'm basing my conclusions on, but daily use for a couple of weeks. All right, so in conclusion, I would say, honestly, the Neverstick pan is kind of in the running for one of the best pans I've reviewed. I like how heavy it is. It almost has kind of a cast iron feel to it, and also sears very well. When I compare it to the other pans, you know, they all kind of have their pros and cons. This one seems to be kind of the most balanced of all of them. I would say this and the Granitestone Pro are really kind of head to head, but this one is actually weighs a pound heavier, so it has kind of a more durable feel to it. It's a good pan, and for 50 bucks, it's not really that bad, but it doesn't come with a lid, so you gotta pay for one of those as well. It does heat up a little bit more slowly than some of the other pans, but that's probably because it's so thick. but once it heats up, it sears very well. The heat distribution is very even. I think it's a very good pan, and I'm gonna keep using it. But my overall opinion of the Ninja Foodi Neverstick Pan after 2 weeks of daily use is that it's an excellent pan. I do think that if you pick it up, you will not be disappointed. I'm a big fan of Ninja. Their Ninja Foodi oven is very good. The Ninja Foodi grill I still use all the time. So I'm happy with the Ninja Foodi line, and this one did not disappoint. But if you've used this pan, tell me what you think in the comments below. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time.